Welcome back to Stocklabs, another market recap. Kind of halfway point or a little more of October, and another decent week for markets, mostly up across the board. Qs 0.25% to the upside. They were sort of the laggard. S&P up 0.8, Dow up 0.9. Russell IWM up almost 2% for the week, so kind of big disparity between the Russell and the Qs. Actually, this time it was the small caps leading. In general, they're the ones lagging, so I think sort of propose this as maybe a possibility of the rest of the market maybe playing a little bit of catch up to, the NASDAQ and mega cap stuff that's mostly been doing all the heavy lifting. So yeah, that happened a little bit. We had gold up over 2% for the week, new all-time highs over there. And bonds not doing much, flattish after a bad week. And I think 10 years over 4%. So, historically that's not that high, but it's high in the recent history of markets. So, yeah. And crude, big down week, down 7-8%. So, I'm not sure if there was a clear catalyst here, but I think this tends to be a seasonally weak-ish time for crude and commodities overall, like energy commodities, basically. Yeah. So if we check out breadth by industry, broadly positive, the exception of basic materials. I mentioned commodity complex was down, or energy complex was down pretty heavily. So the big drag there. Utilities up 3%, outperformer. Healthcare up 2.25%. It's not that common that healthcare is one of the top performing sectors over here. We've got tech up 0.4, not great. Services up 1%, industrials up 1.25%, financials 0.8. Everything broadly in line with the market for the most part, with the exception of the utilities and healthcare that outperformed and basic materials that were on the downside. And subsector wise, we may have a little bit of a new theme emerging. Not emerging, it's kind of been a couple weeks now in a row, or a little while in a row. But this nuclear trade had really heat up this past week. There's supposedly going to be a lot more demand for nuclear and a lot more investment and projects getting greenlit for nuclear, all because of artificial intelligence being such a large consumer of energy. And rather than, I guess, fight with environmentalists and all of this stuff over, whether the emissions are ethical for what people are getting out of AI, which I'm not sure anybody can really quantify what the real output is. We're just going to greenlight a different energy source basically and kind of put it in vogue so that it can supply electricity that can power these all of these server farms and data centers and whatever everybody's building the infrastructure for running these models that do something. So that's it on nuclear. But we've got some other sort of real economy sectors that are doing pretty well. We've got construction, regional airlines, silver and gold. I mentioned that gold hit all-time highs. Silver also had a big week, but silver obviously has that all-time high that's way up there around 50. Yeah, I think 50. from decades ago. So, yeah, we'll see if that's going to print again, but who knows? Yeah, that's kind of it. On the downside, not really a lot to speak of. I mean, you see some of these semiconductor sectors are drifting lower, but there's not any real selling going on there. It's just, they happen to be a little bit of an ATM for investors that have already caught a lot of the trade and are just diversifying to other areas of the market. But yeah. Anyway, if we look at breadth by market cap, 1 to 5 billion cap companies are, oops. Yeah, okay. 1 to 5 billion cap companies up 2.7%, 5 to 10 billion up 1.5%, pretty strong actually. Large caps 50 to 100 or 10 to 50 billion large caps up 1%. 50 to 100 billion cap stocks up 0.8, basically in line with S&P. And Terra caps 100 billion plus up 0.7, kind of in line with the S&P. So, positive across the board. You can see it was a pretty, went from 2.7 to 1.5 to 1, as we went from 1 to 5, 10, as we went up the cap spectrum. So, definitely a good week for the smaller guys. Generally, that's not the way the market, behaves over longer periods. Could happen for a week or two, but then small caps mostly go back to underperforming. So I would just say be careful with that. And if we look at for this week, what should be bullish? We've got AI and big data. I don't know if this is some newer ETF or newer, like one of these thematic things, but yeah, anyway, it's on here as bullish. We've got high beta bullish, treasuries bullish, another Ethereum ETF is bullish, Bitcoin bullish, Google bullish, and I think this is another this is some digital thing about crypto or DeFi or something. I don't really know. And on the downside, got Target. Oh, wait, what is this? This is some pair trade ETF. So what is this? This is, oh, no. Target meaning, actually, I have no idea. This could just be a short MSTR ETF. Anyway, it's bearish, so bullish MSTR. We've got a bear NVIDIA ETF, so bullish NVIDIA. We've got bull regional banks, so bearish regional banks. And we've got Alibaba, bearish. And inverse FANG is bearish. So, yeah, I mean, Stocklabs is basically looking for the exact opposite of the past week, where the NASDAQ is going to bust loose. And, maybe this regional bank type stuff, the stocks and companies tied more to the real economy are going to take a backseat again. So, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I kind of also think that's going to happen, but we'll see how it plays out. Overall, though, really still nothing to worry about as far as the market goes. Everything seems to be on pretty solid footing still, despite whatever headlines you see in the Middle East. whatever you see about which way the election's going and all of this stuff, market's been pretty resilient against any of those narratives that develop, or not even just narratives, but things that actually happen out there. So that's all from me. Hope you guys have a good week out there, and I'll be back next week. See how it all went. Bye.